Hey guys, what is up? It is WatermelonSkrub. I'm gonna tell the story of my camp experiences in the sixth grade. I made some jokes on the bus, like it's like, all right, we're in a steep hill. Everybody lean to the right so we can fall off. I made jokes like that a lot, and we were watching this movie. I forgot what it was, but we were watching this movie on this like tiny TV screen. But as we were getting closer, the bus driver he acted like a tourist or like a tourist driver because he's pointing out, was like, oh, in this section of the area there are llamas, and I felt he blocked all the speakers, so I couldn't hear the movie. We couldn't understand that part, so I had to rewatch the movie after camp. By the way, the camp lasted a week, but I only lasted till Thursday. The reason being was I got sick on Thursday and I had to stay over there, and I watched a bunch of Disney movies because that's all they had. I remember going home on like early Friday because I couldn't do anything, and there was snow that day. Snow, literal snow. And I felt bad I wasn't able to see that. And with the rest, like when I was packing my things, I know I had to leave. I saw like seven like deer or whatever you want to call them. I saw seven of them, and I could have taken a picture of it. I wasted all of my freaking film. And if you want to know how I wasted all my film, well, I just took random pictures. There was this time where we were going to go to, whatchamacallit? We were going to go to this carnival, they said, on Wednesday. It's not really a carnival, they just got some of those cheap roadside attractions. Their cheap carnival was actually really fun. I had a lot of fun with my friends. Snarf. He was really enthusiastic about it. I just tried to make the best out of it. I mean, even though it was cheap carnival, didn't really have so much of a good time there. I tried to make the best of it. I made jokes. I messed around with people. I yelled a lot, way too much. I yelled off a mountain. So doing this little carnival thing, and there was this guy. I don't remember what his name was, but he was another one of the camp counselor guys, and he was holding up a sign that says "Make me laugh." He was one of those really serious guys. Like nothing could make him laugh. I tried so hard, and I lost all of my material after that. Like I felt disappointed in myself as a comedian. I felt disappointed in myself, but overall I had a good time. That there's this time that I was messing around. This was dark already. It was already dark, and I decided to mess with them by bringing out my camera. I put on full flash. It was like, hey, have you heard of Call? I went up to some of my other friends in the class and some random people. I was like, hey, have you heard of Call of Duty? They say, yeah. Have you heard of the flashbang? They say yes, and then I immediately take a picture of them. That's how I wasted all of my film, and I wasted it all by Wednesday, which was a pretty bad idea. And there's this night walk that we had on Tuesday, a night hike, and I wasn't really fond of night hikes. And or hikes in general, I didn't like the idea of like climbing something. And this time was even worse because I couldn't see where I was going. I have glasses. I have I'm not gonna specify my prescription, but I have pretty bad eyes, and I remember like not being able to see anything, so I had to like stick with a couple of people. I couldn't see anything whatsoever at all. Like imagine being in pitch black and then only being able to see stars. That's it. Like I couldn't tell where my friends were, and the Flash, he was just saying about our surroundings and telling us the constellations and stuff. And there's this one point where they let us like walk on our own a little bit more, like not having a guide. And this was a hard thing for me because it was the really steep part of the mountain, and I couldn't see anything. So I had to stick with some people during that. I stuck with another person. I forgot what his name was, but I wasn't gonna tell you that anyways. He had glasses too. He was a lot like me. He was a gamer, but he loved the Nintendo video games better than all, like Pokemon or Legend of Zelda. He was a cool guy. I remember just talking to him on the walk, and like he was cool and all. But then we came up to a point where we had to go down, and we went down. But the problem was it was kind of steep going down, and there was a lot of rocks. And funny story, when I went to the office, well, their office to get my medicine, my friend Julio was there, and he was telling me about his trip on the night hike with his group. Because okay, this is very hard to explain, but you have your cabin group, and then you have your letter groups, which doesn't really make sense to me, but it's like that. I was in group I, by the way, and we split up into those groups to go hiking, blah blah blah. And then I asked him, I was like, hey man, what happened? And then he told me that there were cops looking for a criminal, and I got scared up to that point. He said that there are criminals in the forest, so I got like freaked out because being the little 11-year-old not knowing what's going on, 11 to 12-year-old not knowing what's going on, like what, it's just a little confusing to you. It wouldn't make sense for that to happen, you know. And let's see, I remember doing team exercises. They were the worst out of anything you can do in camp. The worst. There is this other time when we had to fit at least at least 1 foot of us on a platform. It was a tiny platform, or what I mean by this is like everyone has to put at least 1 foot onto there, and it was a little hard to do. We eventually figured out how to do it, but there's this awkward moment where my friend, let's call him Jacob. He gotta protect the innocent. Anyways, he said, hey, why don't we just smush into there and maybe it'll work? And I said, yeah, maybe that could be a thing that'll work. And then we did that, and then I was in the middle, and I didn't like being in the middle, and like I was getting pretty sweaty because there's like a bunch of kids surrounding you. Imagine how that feels to be in that situation. And there is this person behind me. Let's call her Rachel. I was moving my hand back, and I accidentally touched something, and I was like, oh my god, I freaked out, and I was stuck because we were sweating. She was wearing like jogging pants or whatever, and I got scared, and I was like, dude, we gotta move. I was like, Jacob, we gotta move. And he's like, why? This is working. And I said, no, man, we gotta move. We gotta move. And then we finally got out of said place. And I like, if you've been to Camp Marston, there's those like little cheap sinks by the outside of the forest. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna wash my left hand. Oh, but let's talk more about Jacob, since he is the guy that just eats everything. He's a small dude, but he ate everything in the cafeteria. He ate all the extras. These guys knew what to like. These guys at his school knew what to tell him. He's like, hey, you gotta get to all those pancakes before he does. And I'm like, okay. There's this other guy. Let's call him a guy from a book that I just read. His name was Donovan. He was a very funny child. He was a lot like me, actually. We were very similar, and there's this one day that he yelled so loud off of a mountain that he lost his voice that day, and he sounded like this, but with his voice in it, you know, like all cracky and stuff. And he was a funny kid overall. I sat with him and his sister in on our little tables, and I just thought, hey man, this guy's funny. But my friend, let's call him my friend in my class. Let's call him Jared. He told me he was in the same cabin as said Donovan, and he told me that Donovan talks a lot about sex. So I got freaked out. I was like, oh my god, I thought he was cool. I mean, he is. He's just a little bit weird on the inside. And then I remember. Let's see. What can I talk about? I remember going up to their camp shop, and like, you know how much of a huge ripoff this was? I got 2 dog tags. but they were $5 each. They were $5 each. Like, I don't know if you think that's worth it or not. It was worth it to me at the time. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but you guys have your own opinion. I have mine. It was the biggest ripoff ever, but I took what I could get. And we had to wait in like little lines to get into that shop. Like, you don't know how many people tried to get souvenirs. Like, you don't want to know how many people tried to get souvenirs there. Jesus Christ. Gotta kill this corn guy. Anyways. I don't really know if I have any more to talk about. Oh, I remember the mountain climbing thing. Or, not mountain climbing, wall climbing. I do not like heights. If you know me, I don't like heights. And take me anywhere with heights, I'm probably not going to enjoy it. I mean, like, I like bridges, but I don't like roller coasters. I don't like anything that I feel like I can fall off of. Like, let's say you're on a bridge and there's, like, glass windows. I feel like I'm going to fall. Like, it's just, like, a natural thing. And we went hiking, and it was bad. I forgot what I was talking about other than heights. That was bad. I remember on Monday when we first came to camp, they had pizza for lunch, or at least when we came there, it was pizza. But then for the rest of the week, the lunches were decent, except for Wednesday. Wednesday was amazing. Wednesday they brought barbecue chicken wings. I was like, holy jeebus, this is the most amazing thing you can ever bring. Thank you. And like they called their juice, which was warm, well, ice juice. They call it bug juice, but we all knew it was just normal juice. But I wanted to drink. The only way you are ever able to drink that juice is if you finish your water. This was the worst water you could ever drink, because they tried to conserve water in that camp, and they linked you can grab water anywhere, and all of the water is the same. So toilet water, sink water, fountain water, they're all the same. So the water tasted horrible. They didn't have ice. I don't know what kind of effect they wanted to give to us, but it was pretty bad. I didn't enjoy it one bit. This guy is so freaking annoying. And like, I did not enjoy it at all, the water. Like, we had to finish two pitchers of water just to get that juice, and at the end it wasn't even worth it. Once you got it, it wasn't even worth it at all. I'm trying to think of more I can talk about here. I guess I can finish that up in another video, but I kind of want to beat this boss. So yeah, I can just watch me beat this boss and completely suck at it. Oh god, no. What? Don't you dare. I want to be the one who kills him. This guy is so obnoxious. Like, he's like speaking of obnoxious, there is this kid. I thought he was a cool kid at first. His name, well, we'll call him Alex. He wasn't the Alex that's in my class, but he was pretty obnoxious. He was the type of kid to just swear too much. Like you know what I mean by swearing, saying like bad words, you know. But I prefer to call it swearing. He was that kid. He just like went all in when it came to swearing. He didn't stop. It was just his thing, and he sounded like a person that you would hate. But on the inside, he was a cool kid. There's this guy. His name was Gael. He was another clown, I would say, like me. He was one of those clown people. And there's this one time we were trying to take pictures of deer, and we didn't want to scare him off. But what he did was he rolled down the hill where the deer were and scared him away. Like, he rolled down the hill as if it were like his own personal playtime or whatever. And it was the funniest thing we saw during camp. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny. But this is WatermelonSkrub signing out.